You're listening to F&A Presents Boom Shakalaka.
How we doing? It is Thursday, December 14th. And I got some new headlines. Sorry I didn't make it yesterday. December is a hectic month. Christmas, birthdays. I got 3 birthdays this month to deal with. Kiddos and Christmas. Making sure all the ducks are in a row, you know. So we got a little tied up with a birthday yesterday. Plus a little late work. Was running around all over the place trying to find a Taylor Swift CD. Because the kiddo is a fan. And where'd I go first? First place I stopped was at a Walmart. A local Walmart. And all they had was vinyl. All they had was records. Which is cool. I mean, that's pretty awesome. The vinyl's coming back. That's on the list. Record player. We're not there yet. She wanted a CD. They didn't have anything there. So we got a place that is nearby that sells used CDs, Blu-rays, games, all kinds of stuff. Usually you can get some pretty good deals there. So I took a ride up there. And they only had one album available. And she already has that one. So couldn't go with that. While I was there, I did pick up a game, which I'll talk about in a minute. But from there, I went to the local Target. And at first I was a little worried because at first all I seen was vinyls again. And I was looking all over the place, and I did find another gift, and I grabbed it, and I had it in my hands. Little ears might be listening, so I'm not going to mention what it was. But I had this thing in my hands, and I decided to walk over to where the vinyls were. And I swear to God, if it was a snake, it would have bit me. They were right in front of me, the CDs. They had the vinyls, and then right in front of the vinyls, they had the CDs. So I looked through all the CDs, and my wife, Ren, she sent me a text message, and she gave me an idea of what to get by telling me what not to get. And I'm looking at this list, and there was 3 titles that, forgive me, I can't remember. I'm not a Swiftie myself. But there was 3 titles, and I also have cats. There were 3 titles that were not on the list. Do not get these ones. And I seen those ones. And there was only like 2 other ones available that were not on the no-go list. And I grabbed one of the 2. Like Everland, Evermore, Eversong, something along those lines, Ever something. And it just so happened to be the one that she didn't want. But she didn't have it, and she was happy and said that she'd add it to the collection. So, that was a win, luckily. What else? Oh, I bought a game when I was at that secondhand place, you know, with the CDs and they got a heck of a Blu-ray selection. But I picked this up. It's an old school game. Make sure I ain't got that reflection, huh? The new Super Mario Brothers Wii. I picked that up. And I checked it out. And it looked okay. And when I brought it home, I threw it in the old Wii. I got it set up in the bedroom now. And would not read the disc. I was kind of bummed out on that one. I wouldn't read it. I did a couple internet forum troubleshooting things that I could think of. It didn't work. But I did try some other discs. I did try a couple other discs, and they did work. So that's telling me that it's the game and not my system, right? I'm still getting a cleaning kit anyway. You know what I mean? I'm still going to get one of them, the lens cleaners. It's a disc that got a cleaning thing on it. Put it in there, clean it up. Probably needs it anyway. You know what I mean? But I did call the place up today, and I asked them what their return policy was, and they told me that I could bring it back within 30 days with receipt. Unfortunately, they didn't have another copy. I've never played this one, and I'm kind of excited to play it. Maybe I'll have to find it somewhere else. You win some, you lose some. That's kind of how it goes when you're buying secondhand and you're getting things from these thrift stores. Usually, I mean, I've had things not work in the past, but for the most part, I'd say it's like a 90% turnout that the stuff's going to work. You know what I mean? And then them having this return policy kind of gives you a little bit of peace of mind. You know what I'm saying? So that's cool. We'll try and take another shot at that one. Maybe I'll check out a GameStop. You know what I mean? GameStop might have one or two. So I believe that's probably, that drives me crazy about GameStop is I'll go up there and this game, what is this from? This is from like 2010, 2009. That's the date on the back of this thing. 2009, and GameStop's probably going to want to charge $25-$30 for this fucking thing. It's crazy. I know, I get it. Retro's big again, but an old school, I wish I would have saved my consoles. Old school Nintendo Entertainment System. I seen one going for like $500 original. Give me a break. Oh, what the hell else we got here? Birthdays, Christmas, Wii game, crazy week. You know what? One thing that drives me nuts, and I had something happen to me this week, is when you're driving on the highway and you're driving in the fast lane and you're coming up behind somebody who's driving extremely slow, like they're driving slower than what the slow lane's going, and they don't get over and they stay in their lane. Now, I get there could be a multitude of reasons why they're in that lane in the first place. Maybe they're getting ready to turn. But if somebody goes to pass you, there's no reason to speed up. So I'm driving the other day, and I'm around Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I'm on this road, and that's exactly what happened to me. Is I'm in the fast lane, and I'm going maybe 5 over the speed limit, and I come up behind this person that was definitely going way below the speed limit, and so I gave it a few minutes. I kind of just rode behind them there for a minute, thinking sometimes they'll get over, sometimes they'll turn. But he never moved. We went through 2 lights, and he stayed in front of me. And the moment I got into the other lane to go around this guy, he decided to gun it. I don't understand it. Why? Why would you do that? Just get over, get out the way, or let him pass. You know what I mean? There's no reason to just be a random asshole for no reason. Ran over. Let's get into this news, huh? I got some headlines. I got some Jonathan Majors news. Let me get this set up here, because I got a video, and I'm going to play this video whilst I read this lovely article written by Ren. She'll have a full report again on the podcast on Sunday, which will be available Monday. She always goes pretty deep on the her trial reports. She gets really into it. But I got a little bit of a summary from what she will be giving you on Sunday. Video you're watching right now is from TMZ. The Jonathan Majors trial has taken a sudden turn this week when Majors' driver, Naveed Sarwar, took the stand on Monday during the second week of the trial. The driver was the only other person in the vehicle during the alleged attack, The driver testified that Majors was, quote, not doing anything, but while jumping out of the car, Majors attempted to throw his ex back into the car. The driver testified he was looking ahead, as one does when they're driving, when a fight broke out between Majors and Jabari. He told the court that many things were happening and he had a feeling that the girl had hit the guy because the way she was fighting and the sounds that he had heard. He was not doing anything and she was doing everything. When Majors exited the vehicle, video surveillance shows Majors picking up Jabari and shoving her back into the vehicle. Said Major, trying to push Jabari back into the car, and he said that Majors was trying to get rid of her. Majors' attorney, Priya Chandri, claims that the driver said Jabari was a psycho girl. Another major win for Majors this week is the surveillance videos that you're watching now. The judge finally released the videos to be viewed so everyone can see for themselves. Now, you can clearly see that when Majors exits the car, he does pick up Jabari and shoves her back in because she won't let him go. When he tries to walk away, she is right beside him, trying to hold his hand, and he is doing his best to just get away from her. He ends up starting to run away from her, and she is right on his tail, chasing him, block after block. Clearly, Majors is trying to get away from this woman, but she just won't have it. Eventually, we see Jabari stop in front of a place where she met up with some partygoers on the sidewalk, Chloe Zoller and Max Manning, where two of these people who testified, and Chloe testified that Jabari was visibly upset, and so she invited Jabari to the club with them. We also see Majors walk by the group and Jabari goes chasing after him again before just giving up for the night. Chloe also testified that she saw tears in Majors' eyes when he walked past them. She also clarified that she saw no visible injuries on Jabari. She said later that night when they were in the club, they got ice for Jabari's finger because Jabari said it was hurting. There was no other evidence of Jabari being hurt, and the jury is currently deliberating, and we should find out if Majors is innocent or guilty by tomorrow. The video that I have playing right now was what they released in the courtroom and what the judge had released to the press. I believe it was either today or yesterday. What you're seeing now is the police camera footage of Jonathan Majors when he met with the police that he called after he found Jabari passed out in the closet. What an unfortunate situation. Clearly, you can see she's a little bit out of it here. It was reported that she had taken some sleeping pills. She stated she took 2 sleeping pills, and from the sound of the testimonies, Jabari has a little bit of a drinking issue. Now, like I said, the jury is currently deliberating. They will have their results hopefully by tomorrow, but it might not be enough. Even if Jonathan Majors is found not guilty, it may not be enough to save his career. At least that's what how the press is calling it right now. Forbes has been running hit pieces every few days, as well as Variety and the New York Post. And I'm not going to read all of them, but I pulled up a couple headlines here. Here's Variety. Disturbing Jonathan Majors text and audio released in court. I'm a great man and doing great things for my culture and the world. In my opinion, some of this is kind of taken out of context. I have the audio. I'm going to play it after I go through these articles. I like to make the argument of arguing with somebody during a text message. You miss a lot of elements of a conversation through text messaging, and it's the last place that you would want to discuss something very important or have an argument. And I feel that sometimes in traditional media, like a newspaper, you miss out on a lot of extra context that may be behind a statement. This here's the New York Post, what Jonathan Majors' trial could mean for the future of the MCU. And this here is Forbes. Like I said, it seems like they've been running some hit pieces on Jonathan Majors even since the trial had begun. This is from today. I am a great man, Majors says at one point in the clip. I am doing great things, not just for me, but for my culture and the world. This is actually the position I'm in. Read in this context, it seems like he might be yelling at her. And don't get me wrong, there's some other things that came out during this case that, you know, granted he might be found not guilty, but some of the things that have been brought to light does put a little shade on his image, for lack of a better term. But the bottom line is, if he's found not guilty, then he's not guilty for the crime that he was charged for. Hence, I don't think it should destroy the guy's life. Okay? New Jonathan Majors audio recording is one more reason Disney needs to recast Kang. That's the title of this article here. He likens his greatness to other important historical figures in the black community during the recording as well, saying, no, do you understand that? Because that team, that unit, right? Grace has to be of a certain mindset to support Coretta Scott King. Do you know who that is? That's Martin Luther King's wife, Michelle Obama, Barack Obama's wife. And there's more. And I tell you what, I'm actually just going to play the audio clip that was released. As soon as I find it here, I'm going to play this audio clip for you. And then you can just make up your own mind on this entire situation. Let me turn this down a little bit. There we go.
I would like to get to the point where your friends know what job I'm on and go, I think Grace is gonna be out of commission. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I won't.
No, you understand that? Because that team, that unit, right? Grace has to be in a certain mindset to support Coretta Scott King. You know who that is? That's Martin Luther King's wife. Michelle Obama, Barack Obama's wife.
I know, I'm not. I shouldn't have gone out. I'm
No,
sorry.
let me just lay it out for you, right? If I'm just gonna say this. My temper, my shit, my trauma, blah, all that said, right? And I'm gonna say I'm a great man, a great man. I am doing great things, not just for me, but for my culture and for the world. That is actually the position I'm in. That's real. I'm not being a dick about it.
And there you have it. There is the audio release. There is a little bit more to that clip. If you want to get the full clip, go to tmz.com or search them up on YouTube, and it is available everywhere. It's not hard to find. What I meant by context, in that audio clip, to me, it does not sound like he's yelling at her, like screaming at her. He's speaking with authority, okay? He's speaking with a tone in his voice that is in a leadership position. Hey, this is how things need to be. And I feel that he's trying to explain that in his position, whether he asked for it or not, it is what it is. He is a public figure. He is in the eyes of the world, and he is a role model for a lot of kids out in the world. And what he's trying to convey is that with the position he's in comes responsibilities, and she was not upholding her end of that agreement, meaning her alcohol problems. He's trying to display an image that is in line with his level, and his other half is doing things to taint that image. And with that being said, I can understand his side of the argument. Now, it was also said during this trial, and they released audio stating that he tried to talk her out of going to the hospital over an injury that she allegedly had to her head. That's not cool. I don't really care who you are or what your status is. You should never try and talk somebody out of seeking medical attention if that person feels they need medical attention. The doctors are more than capable of assessing the situation and coming to a conclusion. Knew something was missing. People do wild things when their life and their livelihood is on the line. And it's a tricky one. You know, these big companies are real big on image, and unfortunately, this trial has tainted his image, and unfortunately may affect future roles he may or may not have gotten because of it. But there'll be more news to come on this, I'm sure. Tomorrow, we're supposed to be getting the results. We'll be getting our final verdict, and we'll know for sure on whether or not Jonathan Majors is guilty or not guilty. And once we have that definitive answer, then we should start getting some more definitive answers as far as Kang and the MCU, because that's what bottom line, I'm a nerd, and that's what I'm concerned about. So, stay tuned. Podcast on Sunday, we will have a full report on this, and moving on. Jonathan Majors. Boom. All right. Next here, I got Captain America, Brave New World. As we've talked before, the next Captain America movie I've mentioned before is scheduled for extensive reshoots this upcoming spring of 2024, and could be up to 6 months of reshoots. And today, Deadline is reporting that they just picked up Matthew Orton, as you see on the screen above me, to write some additional scenes that will be filmed during the upcoming reshoots scheduled for this spring and are rumored to last up to 6 months. Reshoots are, okay. Where is it? That's pretty badass image there too, right? Okay, Deadline. In this article from Deadline, they also mention that reshoots are part of every Marvel movie and are always planned as part of the studio's quality control production process. Reshoot days can vary from as little as 3 days to more than 2 weeks. Yes, reshoots are very common. Reshoots are very common in the MCU. And as far as I know, almost every MCU film and series up to the date has had reshoots of some sort. But not 6 months plus. All right? Not 6 months plus. Not reshooting the entirety of a film and hiring another writer so y'all can fix whatever was wrong in the first place. With this news and fact, they're basically redoing the whole thing, it sounds like. And, you know, with this, and then the fact that they're redoing Daredevil as well, it was recently reported that Daredevil had 7 to 8 episodes in the bag. They did some screeners, and the results were not what they were looking for, so that show was thrown back to the drawing board. So now you have Captain America Brave New World and Daredevil basically getting redone from the beginning. And I'm hoping that this is a sign of better things to come. It's been reported recently that Marvel is making changes behind the scenes, that Marvel is seeing the numbers. I mean, I don't know how they can't see the numbers, and there's a clear reason why the numbers are the way they are. And hopefully, the news of all these reshoots and rewrites is an attempt to rectify the situation. Where's that cool picture again? Look at that. These are images. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, I don't have a credit for this one. I found these. I did a Google search, right? I came across this, and that's just fucking sick. I cannot wait to see Harrison Ford as the Red Hulk, right? I think it's going to be pretty sick. It's unfortunate about William Hurt passing. You know, he's been Thaddeus Ross since the first Incredible Hulk film with Edward Norton. But they had to recast. I think they made the right choice picking Harrison Ford. I mean, he's been the president how many times in other films? He has the look. He has the attitude. And you know we're going to get that finger, right? That big lanky finger of his. So, pretty exciting stuff. The next podcast we do, like I said, we're going to have more information on the Jonathan Majors trial. We will have Adam Driver did an interview here recently, and he was talking about Kylo Ren and how different the story was at the beginning of that venture compared to how everything ended up, which I found was pretty interesting. And Zack Snyder needs to quit giving the Snyderverse hope, okay? In a recent interview, Zack Snyder was asked that if Netflix had the rights, if he would continue the Justice League, and he said something along the lines of, yeah, if Netflix had the rights to those characters, he would absolutely continue the Snyderverse. So that's going to lead to the next 2-3 years of Snyderverse hope. Just give it up already. We got that 4-hour cut, black and white Justice League, and it was awesome. It was pretty good. And, I mean, I'm a fan of the Snyderverse as much as the next guy, but come on. He's getting into this Rebel Moon stuff, and I'm ready for Rebel Moon stuff. I'm ready for Rebel Moon, which is next week, by the way, isn't it? Holy shit. Is that next week? Let me get rid of some of this stuff. I got too much stuff here. We were going to talk about that Twitch policy, but I'll save that for another day. You know what? No, let's talk about this real quick. Boom. Alright. Twitch. This is from yesterday. Twitch has updated their approach to sexual content and content classification labels. We have received consistent feedback from the streamers that our current policies around sexual content are confusing and that it can be difficult to know how their content will be interpreted. Based on these policies, we want streamers to feel confident they understand our rules and viewers to feel confident that they will get the experience they expect. To accomplish this, we are making 2 changes effective today. Streamlining our policies regarding sexual content and updating the criteria used for homepage recommendations. Now, a lot of this, I believe, started with that morgue pie chick. I was browsing the other day on Twitch, and when you go into the just chatting section, if she's on, she's one of the top ones on there no matter what. She has a huge following. And the camera view, all right, can you see this? The camera view was like from here up, and she was like, she looked topless, right? You could see everything but the old nippies. And from what I understand, Twitch was getting a lot of complaints, and I fully understand why, because it's sexual content. And Twitch is, you know, they were built off of a video game streaming platform. And you got a lot of little kids that like to go on there and check out their Fortnites and their Call of Duties. And you got Morgue Pie showing all her titties. We don't need that. So maybe, hopefully, with these new classifications, you got like labels. Like if you have say you're streaming, before you stream, you got to fill out some check blocks and all that. And say you're a smoker and you do a lot of smoking on your channel, you got to annotate that so potential viewers can see, hey, I don't want to see somebody smoking cigarettes, and it gives them that little warning. Well, this is the step. Personally, myself, I think all that content should be reserved for OnlyFans or similar sites. Make another category, right? Put another category in there. You already have the swimming pool category. Have the playing video games with my titties out category. I don't know. But this is totally going to be from the Morgue Pie chick. And hopefully this cleans up the homepage a little bit. I'm hoping. I'm hoping that cleans up the homepage a little. So, without further ado, without anything else, that was the new Twitch policy and all the other headlines, and that's all I got for tonight. But I tell you what, I'm thinking about doing a little Zelda. Been thinking about playing a little bit of Link to the Past. What do you think? I think I might do a little Link to the Past on here. So, been wanting to do a replay of that game for a while now, and what better place to do it than here, right? So, let me get this wrapped up, get a few things put together, and I will see you in the next video. Peace!